online. Welcome to another episode of the Big Blue Tent podcast. Come in, get comfortable. All are welcome here. The views from Gups and Aiden are strictly for entertainment purposes and should not be mistaken for facts. 30 seconds until round 1.
Shut up and sit down.
Done. So here we are. Welcome to the Big Blue Tent podcast, episode number 7. It's Wednesday, the 14th of June, 2017, and you're listening to Matt Guppy and Aidan Burke of the Big Blue Tent. Hi, Aidan.
Hi, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good. All good. Obviously, we've had a few technical issues tonight, so after we've run through the sponsors, we're going to give our guest a call back, because we have already spoken to them for a little bit, but due to some technical nightmares, we lost the recording. So we're going to quickly run through the sponsors, and we will give them a call back. So thanks very much to Number 5 RC, Mike Parker up in the north. We got Jet Set Robot, Paul Seddon, who dug us out of a very big hole with some technical stuff tonight. CML Distribution, special thanks to Russ Lee, who's helped me out a fair bit this week. And we've got RC Octane, John Finch down in the southwest, and of course Nuclear RC for your glues and acetones, Alan Painter. So you can find all those guys on Facebook somewhere or another, or through the Big Blue Tent page if you are so inclined. Aidan, so we have got a superstar coming on tonight.
Superstar.
We've already spoken to her once. Most people, I'm sure, would have heard the name Drake and pretty much know that that means we're going to be talking to somebody from the States. So who have we got coming on?
We've got Ronda Drake coming on.
That is fantastic, mate.
We've got Ronda Drake, someone I've followed. She's on Facebook. She's always putting pictures of her racing up. She had an interview with the Loopers Live, Bobby and Jeff. Well done, Bobby and Jeff. And we reached out to Ronda with Bobby's help and Jeff's help. Thanks very much. And she's agreed to come on. Excellent news. Well, I think one of the first things you need to do is try and get her back on the phone and make sure you ask for that signed photo. I will do.
We all know how long you've been waiting for that.
Well, I just do this, don't I? Press that button. Oh.
Hello.
Hi, Ronda. How are you?
I'm good. You?
Hi, Ronda.
I'm good.
So I'm so sorry about that. We have just tried to explain just before we got you back on that we have already spoken to you once, but due to some rather annoying technical problems, we've had to cut things off and just start ourselves over again quickly. So welcome to the Big Blue Tent. It's great to have you over this, and thanks very much for taking a bit of time out your day to come in and having a chat with us.
No problem.
So what are you up to at the moment?
I'm actually at work,
Oh.
but I'm heading home now. I'm heading home now and stuff, so that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay, so we're not going to get you in trouble then?
Oh, no. My boss is cool. I told him I had a podcast. He's like, okay.
Nice. So work fits in with the RC stuff pretty well?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I have a really cool boss. The only sad thing is he's going to retire in a couple of years, so what happens after that?
So,
yeah.
How long have you worked with those guys?
20 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my boss, 20 years.
Wow, so part of the furniture?
Yeah, pretty much.
Are you allowed to do setup and car maintenance in work?
At work? No.
I think
Just breaking an engine in out the back.
Yeah.
No, nothing like that.
Yeah, Well, before we spoke to BBT before, what we were talking about was you changed from running a TLR and running the Mugen. As you said, it wasn't really that the Mugen made it very clear it's not better, but it suited you really well.
Yes, for sure. The Mugen car just suits me, very well. And like I was saying, with the OS engine and everything, it just complements my driving style, my throttle finger, everything. So I wish I had never made that change, because you kind of waste a couple years running something else. And I see a lot of these guys flip-flopping around with all different cars, and my advice is stick with what you like, and just, the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd agree 100% with you there. I've always been, I mean, for us, we race 10th scale buggies, so it's obviously a bit different to what you guys are doing. But I changed for.
Well,
oh, sorry.
I did electric for 10 years as well before I even got into the nitro. So,
oh,
but it's
right,
still,
okay.
What
were you
like.
racing when you did that?
I raced for Losi, the 10 scale stuff too, and then I kind of got into the 8 scale. It was before Losi had an 8 scale. I was doing all of that stuff. So.
You're going to hate me as an associated guy then, because I swapped to a Losi 22 from a B4 for about 3 weeks. And I swapped over again.
But
it didn't suit me. What, the Losi? No. I couldn't get my head around the setup with it. I think that's what it was. It just, I didn't really give it a fair chance, because I'm a massive associated guy. I didn't really give it a fair crack at the whip, and I didn't have luck with it straight away. I couldn't get my head around the setup as quickly as I wanted, and I jacked it in and got myself a B5M, and haven't looked back again since then.
Yeah, you live and you learn.
yeah, definitely. The associated stuff just suits the way I drive. Like you say, for you the Mugens are doing you some justice at the moment. So.
Well, I used to run electric 10 scale sedan, and I never liked the Losi sedan, racing on road. So I actually ran the shaft TC3, I think it was, associated, and that was my favorite car back in the day.
Right, got you. Okay, yeah, a lot of the guys over here use them for like rally cars now.
Yeah.
So I think they put slightly longer shocks on them, and because they've got the shaft drive, they're a bit better for off-road than like the sort of belt drive touring cars that you get now.
Gotcha. Yeah, I never liked the belt drive for the TLR stuff. So.
No, I don't think I could ever drive a belt car. These just seem a bit more too complicated for me.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's keep belt cars out the way. So did you enjoy? You've said you enjoyed the Mugen car. Is it a good team? Is it a good group of people that you're working with?
It was always really, really good before, working with Chris Moore and everybody. But now it just seems like our team, who we have on it now, it's like it's the vibe is just awesome right now. We have Truly, we have Ryan Mayfield, Adam, Cole Ogden. I mean, I'm probably forgetting a bunch of people, but right now we have just a really solid team, and everybody seems to get along. Nobody's trying to be superstar, or anything like that. It's awesome right now.
Is that because Adam runs a tight ship?
No, it's not that Adam runs a tight ship. Anybody knows Adam. He's a hard worker and everything. Yeah. And Adam just sometimes the stars just align, and it just all came together. Adam tried to do that at TLR with Ryan and, everybody, even Truey and Cole and all that. And now he's able to do it not under the corporate, world of like TLR. He's able to, music more laid back. So, vibe, you just sometimes just comes together, and it is what it is, and it's good, and it works.
I think what you find's happening here, Ronda, is Aiden is feeling out the ground here before he builds himself up enough confidence to ask for the signed photo that he asked Bobby to ask you for many episodes ago now.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I can do one.
Thank you very much, Ronda. That would go straight into my hauler bag.
So after the podcast, or maybe I could get it over, or I could probably send it by mail. It shouldn't be too bad. So
yeah, we'll send you some stickers. You can send us a side picture.
Okay, good.
We'd love to see a BBT sticker on your wing. Specifically, if you then used it to smash a TLR or other car out the way.
That would on the front bumper then.
yeah, that'll be good. Well, no, that'll be impaled into the other car. You see.
Well, I think I've seen you drive, Ronda. I think you'd be better putting it on the back bumper because you'll probably be in front of most of them.
You never know.
No. So, do you go to a lot of big races? How many of these sort of big events that we see on Facebook do you tend to try and book into your year?
Well, I definitely go to Nitro Challenge in Arizona, and then I definitely Silver State, and then we have a lot of local races around here as well. So I try to go to as many as I can, but I can only take so much vacation time from work. My boss, like I said, is really cool, but once I'm out of vacation hours, I just can't take them.
Right. Okay.
Like I really wish I could have gone to AMS. I really wish I could have gone to Cyclo Nitro Blast. But at the beginning of the year, I took a lot of time off to go to, like I said, Nitro Challenge in Silver State. So.
What's been your best track that you've been to this year?
Actually, the Proline track. I didn't race this race, but the layout there right now is so awesome. It's got a lot of elevation changes, and it's kind of technical track. I think a lot of tracks nowadays are kind of easy, and this at Proline, and you can only go there so much. But we live 5 minutes from Proline and Thunder Alley, and we're able to go to the Proline track pretty much whenever we want. So, like I said, I didn't race on the track, but I've been going there and practicing, and it's pretty good layout. I posted a picture the other day on my Facebook and Instagram.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what I did see on your Instagram the other day. Were the remains of what I can only describe as half a skunk.
Oh, my dog got this. My dog hates. Oh my God. So 3:00 in the morning, I could smell it, and I'm like, that damn dog. And so I was like, well, I'll take him to the groomers tomorrow. But then I walked back there, and there was the skunk. I'm like, are you kidding me, dog?
Oh no.
Well, I think I saw more pictures of Adam looking like he was very annoyed with the dogs, walking them backwards and forwards. I don't know whether you were at the groomers then or not, but he didn't look impressed at all.
That was him taking them to the groomers, and then later on bringing them all shiny and new.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
No smell.
So what are they? They look like big beasts.
One is a Malamute, and the other one's a Husky.
Oh, okay.
So,
Right.
yeah, one's a huge dog and one's a medium-sized dog.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but both quite capable of chasing down a skunk, I'm guessing.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what's coming up next for you then, Ronda? Have you got? Are there any secret plans at Mugen we can drag out of you? Have you got a 10th scale car coming up with those guys? Is there any? What's next for Ronda Drake and Mugen?
I think just the 8. We still don't know when it's actually coming out, and everybody gets really excited and everything. And what I'm surprised is in the past, Mugen Sonata does all the designing and all that, and he never really took too much advice from drivers, and he seems to take a lot of Adam's input. So I'm curious to see what he's going to use from Adam's input for the new car and everything. So, because the new diffs are really, really good. So I'm curious as well. I want the new 8 to be out already, but we still have no idea when it's coming out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You haven't got things that might look like a Mugen 8 just lying around the house there.
Just the stuff that Adam works on that I see, and then he gives that input. But like I said, I don't know what Sonata's actually going to use from Adam's input. So it could be.
Okay, so I guess you guys have had sort of shocks and diffs and things like that to test, and
Yeah, but nothing prototype, nothing, it just basically Adam puts his input and then one day it shows up,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
That's nice.
yeah.
I wish someone would do that for me.
yeah.
So what is the next race you're going to?
Probably the duel, and it'll be at Proline and Thunder Alley, so it's 2 tracks and
Yeah.
2 days. And
right.
yeah, so I think it's 3 heads-up qualifiers, and then they add up everything at the end to see where you sit. So
Right.
Okay.
So literally, like the Saturday, is it over different weeks or?
no, it'll be Saturday and I think Sunday. So it's 2 days, 2 different tracks, and then I think the Ty Testman and them are coming out for it as well
Oh,
for that
cool.
Right.
race.
Okay.
Well, we'll definitely look out for your results there. We'll be
So-
cheering you on.
One thing I'm always interested to ask you guys being by you guys I mean the sort of top level drivers out there. Me and Aidan we're club racers at the end of the day. We're never going to be headlining a national or anything like that. But do you still get that same sort of feeling when someone like Thibaut turns up to a track? Do you kind of think to yourself, "Oh man, there's another point I've lost now"?
I mean, if I thought about it that much, yeah. But no, I mean, I don't really, I just go out there and do the best I can, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
You did say
but
you were quite competitive.
I am, but at the end of the day, you can only do what you can do,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get paid like those guys do and stuff, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Yeah, definitely. Who's your biggest rival out there at the moment? Who's the one you want to beat at the at your next race meeting?
That's a good one. I never really thought too much about it. I can tell you there's some people I don't like, and I don't like them beating me.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
I think that, with a lot of even the local races around here, we have our little rival, and everything. But
Yeah.
I think for me, I don't like getting beat by the people that I've always, normally beat, and then they beat you once, and then you never hear the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very much like me with the Upel competition and the guys in the tent that I pit with. They every now and then they get a lucky round in where they beat me, and that's it for the next 12 months.
But
Never
what's
hear
funny
the end
about
of it.
that, you could beat them 20 times, but they beat you once, and you'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah, that's
So
Yeah, that's it. It's no different
I'm-
over here.
No different. No different.
it's just
Um,
Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, it's just competition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
I think everyone wants us to ask who are the people you don't like, but I don't think we'd ever ask that. But is there anybody who's other people have said, "Oh, you won't like them; they're not nice," and actually, when you've got to meet them and you've maybe raced with them, you've thought, "Wow, do you know what? Everybody else is wrong."
I've never been one to listen to what other people say.
Yeah.
And I'm not one to be a quick friend to anybody either. I kind of sit back and
Right.
I watch people's actions and I watch what they do. And then, later on, just kind of casually, if that's somebody I want to know, then I go and I make my own assumptions.
Okay, good.
Because people can love you, and just as much as they love you, they can hate you too. And it's just I just make my own assumptions on that, and some people say people are assholes or whatnot, and sometimes I think people are misunderstood, or you just don't understand their personality sometimes.
Yeah.
And then there are people that are jerks.
Oh yeah, I was going to say there are just some people out there that are just plain assholes. That is just unfortunately the way things are. But no, I think what you've got to remember is that everybody's going through their own thing today and tomorrow and the next day and when they get home. So you got to give everybody a fair crack of the whip.
I believe so, but like I said, I'm not one to quick friend anybody. Yeah, I have an outgoing personality, but I still sit back and I'm reserved, and I still watch people, and then I keep my circle tight.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, go on, mate.
No, I was going to say, well, we introduced you, which no one will ever hear because it never recorded, as the most famous lady RC racer in the world ever. Do you enjoy that tag?
I'm grateful for everything, that has happened for me in RC and all that. But at the end of the day, I'm honestly just a private, kind of quiet person. I did this because I love doing this, and I strive to, show that, women can do this and all that. But like I said, even though I might be, famous or whatnot, people still say mean things on the internet, and you're like, I'm still human, and you don't really know me, so you have no right to say those things. But just as much as it's part of it, I guess, and they always say let your haters be your motivators and things like that. Because it's tough, like I see people say stuff about Adam, and Adam, I know in my heart, is one of the nicest people, hardest working, and that, and then they say things and I get mad. I'm like, are you kidding me? But like I said, I've enjoyed it. We've been in public places and people are like, oh my God, Adam, Ronda Drake, and this and that, so who doesn't want, some acknowledgement and everything every now and then.
Definitely.
So I own it. But when I was younger, I never liked all the attention and all that. I just wanted to race my cars. But now that I'm a little bit older, I've kind of embraced it and, take it for what it is. So enjoy every moment, because there's going to be one day when I'm old and, people are like, who is that?
Yeah, the people are like that with me and Aidan now.
Yeah.
If you're ever struggling that when you do get older and you want somebody to fall back on, you can always talk to us. We would have been going through it for decades by then.
Yeah.
Well, sounds good.
Because in our world, in our 1/10 world, obviously we've got Malin Carlson, who is, I don't even know how old Malin is, some 11, 12-year-old, I think, Norwegian, Swedish girl, who is absolutely smashing it out the park on our big European off-road 110 scene. And she does run a 1/8 as well for X-Ray. And we've got quite a few young girls now at our club in Southport. Holly, Molly, Megan, and I see it as there shouldn't be any difference between boys and girls there. It's not a physical strength thing. It's
no, but it's not a social norm, though. It's not.
Oh yeah.
So it's still, a big deal and everything. But you're right. It's no physical or really different. Anybody can do this. I mean, a lot of handicapped people do this because they're able to do this where they can't do other things.
Yeah, it's a great leveler.
Yeah, so, but yeah, it's like I said, it's just not socially normal, like, across the board yet. It's becoming, but it's still different, we still have our mindset a different way, so.
Yeah, I agree that it is coming, though. I think people are starting to see things differently as far as, if for want of a better way of putting it, who can do what, if you like. I think that's becoming much more open and much more accepted now, sort of on a big variety of sport, not just RC, but a big variety of sports and other things as well. I quite like the change of it. I quite like being able to say to some of the guys down at the track, "You just got beat by a girl there." Who is it? What's her name? Tiana Craddock. Is that right?
Yeah, Craddock.
Yeah, Tiana's a racer in the UK. I think I raced her at the BWOC. She just wiped the floor with me. Absolutely wiped the floor. Laps and laps ahead. Just that's that. I haven't lived that one down with the guys at work yet. So it's quite nice when you can have a bit back the other way. But I think it's much more accepted. If you look at the way that Malin's come into it, people love it. People love it. The guys at our track are always really supportive. If there are girls that are getting into it, it's nice to see, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely, but the industry isn't as good as it once was either, too, but we need to work on getting more people into the hobby, whether it's guy or
Yeah,
girl,
yeah, definitely,
right
definitely.
now.
You
Yeah, I
you,
think.
you want that constant sort of new people to race. I think it pushes not just the drivers out there to constantly try and be improving, because you don't know who's going to turn up next at the track and be a superstar. You don't know who these people are going to be next. The next
Yeah.
Lee Martin and Neil Cragg, could be one of the youngsters at the clubs that are out there now, and nobody's picked them up yet. But it is really good, and I think we need to keep that going and keep the sort of momentum going. It's growing in the UK, definitely. From talking to the shopkeepers and the clubs out there, people are seeing, more people turn up for club races, more people using the shops, and it's on the up. I think all of us have just got to push together with it.
Yeah, see, out here it's a little different. Like shops and tracks are kind of disappearing a little bit because everybody out here is like sponsored. So, it's kind of hurting all the stores and all that. But and then the competition I think is a little too much for the average person to get into it. Before, we don't really have much club racing. We have to just basically call it an event for people to show up.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
A little different here. And
I mean, do you
everybody out here
find
wants to be a
that
superstar.
is that just in the 8th classes, or is that the 10th? Is that all the classes you're finding that's happening with, or is it just sort of
Mainly
specific
8th
to a?
scale. Yeah, it's mainly the 8th scale because the 10th scale stuff you can still get some club racing and all that, but it's mainly the 8th scale.
Yeah,
We do
it's
see.
similar for us, really. The club racing scene. I'm not sure whether it's just 8th scale or whether it's the nitro side of it. I think for us over here, there's the noise side of it. We certainly haven't got anything like the room that you guys have got over in the States to put tracks up. I'm sure there are people over in the States that are now pulling their hair out, going, "Oh my God, we've got no room for tracks," But I mean, compared to us over here, we're all on borrowed time. All of the tracks are. So I think if there's something like the noise of nitros going round, because they aren't quiet, it's people in the UK love to moan, and I think a lot of tracks have suffered because of that. So most of our nitro stuff, where you get the big gatherings, are definitely those big weekenders, the nationals and the sort of regional events that are going on. But I'm not sure how you combat that. How do you bring that back?
I just think we need more club racing in 8th scale, and then, you're just out kind of, it's a relaxed day, people, it's inviting, and then people say, oh, they're racing little cars, they come sit down, they watch, and then maybe want to get into it, 10th scale even is kind of, even the club racing has kind of died. It's all about the big event. So
Yeah.
I just, I don't know. I guess I blame the race directors because, then they'll blame it on the track, but it's all about just making it inviting for the customer, because if I rolled in and I'd never been into the hobby and I see all this like competition and all this kind of stuff, I mean, to where it's just like, you could just feel like the testosterone at the track, it's not very inviting,
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I've seen a few of the posters. We've got a few Americans in our little Facebook group. Most of them are 1/10 guys, but even then, even when they show their tracks or they show their promotional material, it looks so flash. It's such a big event, as you said. It's a big event. That's what seems to be able to, and they've got 12 different classes running.
Yeah, and so everybody gets a trophy basically because you have 12 different classes, and then and then Facebook and all this other stuff is like kind of a false sense of reality, because you could get third at a race, but there was only 3 people in that race, but you made the podium, and then you can post it all over Facebook.
Yeah, and I've been guilty of that myself.
Shame on you.
I'll take a win if there's only 3 people in the A final and 2 of them break. Hey, I still won that final,
Yeah.
you're getting them, dragging them back from their cars to take a picture with you.
Yeah.
So you seem quite lucky. You know, you've got 2 tracks quite close by.
Yep.
Do you get out to practice much?
I try to go at least 2 days a week, and I actually enjoy the practice days a lot more lately than the races, because when you go to the races, I mean, you have to be mentally prepared for your race, you know, getting all your stuff together, and it's like being at work again, you know. So I like the practice days. I go put my little headphones on, I'll run, you know, and just run, you know. Adam, when I'm at the track, he's like, well, let's try this, let's try that. Sometimes I just want to go run and everything. So it's sometimes more of a relaxing day to go practice.
No, I know what you're saying there. I go up to the track and I'll run. You know, I see guys coming up to the rostrum, they'll do 2 or 3 laps and they'll go down and they'll change something. And then they'll come up and they'll do 2 or 3 laps and they'll go down and change something else. And for me, I want to put, 20 minutes through my car of just running lap after lap of it being the same, because I want to really be able to then take it off the track, make a change, and feel that, because I've kind of got used to the car doing one thing, and if I can go, well, I know what it's going to do there. If I change that and it does something different, then I can recognise a change. I think people get too caught up sometimes in worrying about putting a ball stud washer underneath a front link or something, you know. I just think people get far too bogged down in that, especially at the sort of club level and the lower levels, and forget that if you just crash one time less, you're probably 10 seconds better off than you were anyway.
Yeah, I had one guy, the track's really abrasive. I go to this track called Revelation, and sometimes it's really abrasive, so I put a plastic skid plate on the bottom, and they're like, do you race with that? And I'm like, yeah, because basically after one lap, it's pretty much the same as the chassis, and it's like, it's a skid plate. I mean, it's not going to, put me a lap down, People are intense, and it's like, man, relax.
So what you say? I think you're saying is you're a big fan of just getting time racing, just getting time on a rostrum, driving around tracks.
Well, I do like to try different things and do all of that, but some days you just want to go and relax, and just run your car, and just whatever therapy that day you need, I mean, we try so much different stuff, all the time. So some days it's just nice to just go run and just run laps with your friends and kind of, have those, battle laps, and you're not on the clock,
Yeah, definitely. Those are good days. We do that because our local, my local track at this end of the country, Mendip. If you get a membership there, you can practice all through the week, all over the weekend, as long as it's not a race meeting on or they're doing maintenance on the track or something like that. You can pretty much go down there 24/7 and run your buggy round. And I've had a few days down there where I've gone down on my own, and a couple of my friends have turned up, and then maybe a couple more later in the day. And through the day of me just sitting there and running laps over and over again, I get to race different people as they kind of turn up and go through the day, which is really good for me. But I guess that must be a similar sort of thing for you guys as well. Do you find that you spend more time at the track than most people do, or are you just there for sort of an hour and then you're kind of off?
No, usually I'm there at least 6 hours, sometimes 10. So I make a day of it. Yeah, when I'm down there.
Yeah, good. What do you think's the sort of most important thing? Well, maybe not the most important thing. What do you think makes this kind of biggest difference for people to move up from that sort of beginner level to the sort of intermediate, being able to compete a bit more competitively? What do you think it is?
Well, I see some of these kids, and they're really, really fast, but they want to be at the top level already. And I've heard them ask, like Mike Truey, they're like, what does it take to get to the next level? And you either have it or you don't, I think, and you definitely, it's not it just doesn't come to you. You have to put the work in to do it and to stay at the top, So I see some people, they like staying in the sportsman classes so they can, get that podium, and that's just the class they want to stay in.
Yeah.
For me, there's weekends where I like, man, I really want to, just start racing like I used to and just go everywhere and do all this. And then, life happens and, all that, so you just kind of like, well, I'll have to put that on the back burner this weekend. But, it's just, the more you put into this hobby, and you can't ever just think you know it all, because that's stupid to think that way. You can always learn something from somebody, even somebody you don't like. You just watch and you observe people, and then, like I said, if it's somebody you don't like, you're like, that's what not to do, or actually that's a great idea, why didn't I think of it? But it's just trying to take it to that next level and keep pushing and pushing and learning. So I mean, for me, in the industry, and I just wanted to learn, so I just kept asking people, and I would see what they would do, and I've gone backwards a few times. I've tried people's setups that absolutely do not work for me.
Yeah.
And instead of like going to one extreme, I should have stayed in the ballpark and just changed little things. But I went to the total extreme with it, and it didn't work.
I've never been a big fan of...
There's those days where you're vibing with your car and you're like, man, this is good. I don't want to change anything.
Yeah. I've personally never been a big fan of trying to use somebody else's setup. It's a big thing about posting setup sheets and all of that on the net, and they are very useful. It can give you a sort of guideline, I think, but for me, I like to see what differences people have got to what setup I would use for the track if I was going there. And I think I can kind of take something from that and go, okay, they're using a lot less roll on the front than I would be. I wonder why that is. And then you get to the track and you see why it is, and you can kind of already have an idea of what you need to change from your base to get the best out of it when you start rolling. But to change to a completely different setup, I think just makes the car react so differently from the last time you would have driven it. Yeah, you've got to teach yourself again. That takes, you're talking most of your day is gone. Just getting those sort of basic bits back together, when it's going to turn and when you're going to be able to turn for an apex and stuff like that. But for me, I've always struggled with the setup thing. It's taken a long time to get my head round what different bits do and why they do it and what that's going to affect on the other end of the car when I change it. And there's always something to learn, and I think that's a big bonus from the hobby, to be honest.
Yeah, like for me, Adam is like an engine guru, so I used to let him do it all the time, and so I'm like, I don't know what the hell. I know when it needs bottom or top, but I never adjusted it. So I'm just really learning how to tune the engine, so that I know when it's not there, I can do it. Stuff.
Sorry, Ronda, you broke up a little bit then. I don't know whether you went through a bit of a signal patch. You were just you were saying about tuning the engine.
What was the last thing you heard?
Oh, you said about tuning the engine.
Yeah, you guys are cutting out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so Adam's an engine guru, so I would always have him do it, and I just finally got to a point where I was like, I just want to do it so that when he's not around, I can do it and this and that. So I can do most of the stuff. I can change clutch bearings, and cool. When he's gone, I can do most of the maintenance and all of that stuff. I just tuning I just shied away from, so I don't know why I didn't. I just felt always confident. He tunes it, and, it's good, but I've been with it, and I've been enjoying tuning my own engine lately.
Yeah, and the thing is, when you can do that, you can really get the feel for how you want it, rather than trying to tell somebody else, I want a bit more of that, and they don't put quite the amount on that you want, or too much on, or I suppose it would be a quicker process for yourself and a bit more fine-tuned for your fingers and thumbs, I suppose.
Yeah, I really like cleaning it out.
well, Ronda, I'm going to sort of maybe try and bring this bit to an end, only because I think we've taken too much of your time today, and we've just been. Thank you very much for coming on. It's been
No problem.
It's been a highlight for me. I think I'm just going to. We will definitely, if that's okay, catch up with you another time. We'll always keep an eye out for your results. You know that you will, every time we see a picture of you on a podium, you'll be thinking, Gups and Aidan will be really happy.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It really has. And please come back again soon.
Okay. Thanks,
Sounds
Ronda.
good. All right. Bye,
Cheers,
guys.
Ronda. Bye now. Bye now. Bye.
Take care. Have a safe trip.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
And I think she's gone.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
There you go. Well, just as Ronda has left us, I've got somebody else giving me a call a minute, but he's actually calling me rather than you.
Okay.
So, hang on, how do I do this? Let me see if I can answer him and not end the... put my active call on hold, or add to the group call.
Yeah.
So, with any luck, who we've got on the line now is Adam Drake with us.
Hello.
Hello? Oh, well, he's there, but he's not showing up with any sound. So, he is there, but the sound isn't coming through for some reason. So, I'm not too sure what's going on with that. Hopefully, it might pop up in a minute. Are you there? Oh, no, he's gone. He's gone.
Okay.
Sorry about this, chaps. I'm just going to send him a quick message. The idea was that I was going to try and get Adam on at the same time as Ronda, because obviously Aidan is a big fan of Ronda's and has clearly asked for signed photos and things in the past. So I thought if he was going to ask Ronda for a photo,
hello,
I may as well ask
Hi, Adam. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Great to hear from you. We've just Ronda has just gone off the phone now.
Oh, gotcha.
She's been telling us you tune her engines up for her.
Yeah, I tried to.
Wow. Well, I'm stunned. Hi, Adam. This is Aidan. Wow, this is great. How are you? How's work?
I'm
are you
doing
working?
well. Yeah, I'm in the Mugen office today, just doing a little bit of work, and
okay.
We have JBRL this weekend, and then the Roar Nationals next weekend.
Nice. Are you working on anything secret that we can prize out of you?
Yeah, there's always something secret going on.
Tell us, we won't tell anyone.
Yeah, there's only us two that listen to the show.
Yeah, that's it.
How are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're both good. I'm good anyway. Yeah, really good. It's been boiling hot today in the UK. We've had a good day weather-wise, and I think that makes everybody over here, other than being very pink and sunburnt, are much happier as well.
Yeah, you guys don't get too many nice days.
No. And I think the only place you've been over for the Neo quite a few times, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been over for the Neo quite a few times. I've been over for the Novorossi GP.
Right, yeah.
I've been over quite a few times to England.
I think every time. Has it always been wet when you've been over? That's why we hold the Neo indoors.
Yeah, not every time, but the majority of the times it's been pretty cold and pretty damp.
Yeah,
that's the way we like it.
Yeah.
We race better when it's like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to use the hand warmers and everything.
Yes, yeah, we love a tranny muff. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was your best one that you did when you came over? Which was your favourite?
I mean, the Neo's my favorite race, just in general. It's other than the weather. I mean, everything about it, the organization, the track, the competition. You know, that race has always kind of been one of my favorite races. But I mean, anytime I go to the UK, it's been fun. The people are really nice, and it's always cool to experience and race on different surfaces. Like when I did the Nova Rossi GP, it was on AstroTurf, and you know, we don't have that here in America. So
At all?
it's always
Or have
kind
you
of
got
cool to
any
do
Astro
something
tracks
new.
over there?
No, not for 8 scale. There's more 10 scale carpet and Astro tracks popping up, but nothing for 8 scale.
Right. Okay. Why do you think that is?
I think because our weather is considerably better than the UK most of the year.
Yeah.
Good answer.
I mean, I think, you know, I think if most people had a choice, they would prefer the race on dirt. But I know if I was a track owner and it was somewhere back east where you got a lot of rain and even some snow, I mean, Astro's amazing for that because even though the conditions may be low grip when it's wet, you can still race. There's no mud. It's much easier to clean your car. And the tracks hold up well, too.
I think that's one of the biggest things for us over here, and why it is so massively popular as a track surface for especially for the outdoor venues. And even some of the indoor ones now are starting to use it because if you get the stuff without the sand in it, it's nice and easy to roll up, and it packs away pretty small as well. So I think it is a really versatile surface to use, and there's so many different types out there. You know, you're never really sure what you're going to get when you turn up to a track unless you've raced there before. But the consistency of it through the seasons, we race on it at my local track. It's all Astro, and we're there 12 months a year. We're always racing outdoors. It's you know, it is a dead handy surface to have about. So what's coming up next for Mugen then, Adam? What's the latest thing you've been working on? Ronda tells us you've got a new 8 scale coming out.
Yeah, I mean we've been working on new stuff for quite a while. Still don't really know or have set time frame for that or release date. I mean the MBX7R is still winning lots of races and doing very well for us. But like with anything, you try to continue to progress and make stuff even better. Whether that's all new stuff or just putting some of the more current parts in the box, that's still yet to be determined. But definitely been working hard to continue to improve a product that is still winning today on a regular basis.
Yeah, do you think that's important? Do you think that's important? Even though the Mugen car's doing well, or even though a car is doing well, you just keep working on that car.
Yeah, because if you don't, your competition's going to pass you up. I mean, in racing, what's good or winning today, if you don't continue to work hard and progress, you're left in the dust, very quickly. So, now I'm to a point with Mugen where I've been here 2.5 years that I have a really, really good foundation of kind of what conditions our car excels in and what conditions we need to kind of improve and work on stuff. And, now with having Ryan on board and someone else to kind of bounce ideas off of and be able to test with, it's also been very helpful.
Oh, I bet it has. I bet it's been great having him on the team. How is he? How do you finding it working with him?
No, it's been awesome. It's he's obviously a very talented racer, and very, very just passionate, wants to win. It's
you can see that.
Second doesn't matter. It's he's there to win, and we try to help him and support him in that, and it's been really good. I think it was a fairly easy transition for him, just because we had worked together a little bit, and I kind of had a pretty good starting point for him. But even with that, him coming on board, it's helped me as well. It's like I said, having someone else to bounce ideas off of, or to say, yeah, this is really good, but what do you think about that? And trying to just make small adjustments or tweaks to what we already had, I think has helped the entire team. I mean, even when Robert came over here to Nitro Challenge, and with Cole and Mike Truey and those guys, it's been a good year so far.
Yeah, good. What's the kind of biggest thing that you've learnt from having the time with someone like Ryan? Because I mean, for us, we see Ryan Mayfield, Cavallari, and we see those guys, and they are, for us, the top racers in the world, really, in pretty much any of the off-road classes, for sure. What's the sort of biggest thing you've taken away from that?
I mean, the biggest thing has been just kind of fine-tuning, what we've already been working on, I guess. It's not like Ryan came on board and, said, oh, we have to change everything. I mean, he was very happy and very competitive right out of the gate.
Okay.
We just then, we have a really solid foundation. I mean, Mugen's been, winning in all levels, in 8 scale for many, many years. So we had a great product, but, just kind of putting the pieces together and fine-tuning what we've got.
Yeah.
Is it like somebody else to sort of, you go, well, I think that's great, and then somebody else, because it does seem you've got quite a really strong team, someone else turns around and goes, yeah, it is, but for me it's different. It's just someone else to chat to and get a bit of honest feedback from?
Yeah, I mean, Mike Truey and Cole have both run the stuff for a little over a year. But Mike Truey now has a full-time job and just kind of races part-time. So from like a testing or help with development standpoint, he doesn't really have the time to do that. Cole is just kind of a natural talent. I don't think his particular like setup, he really cares or matters too much to him. He just goes out and wheels it around the track. So I'm pretty particular about, how I want my car to feel and what I want it to do, and I think Ryan is that same way. So, but before it was kind of like it was just, in a sense, me on the U.S. side of things, figuring out what I like or the direction we need to go. So just putting two similar types of people or minds together, has made us all stronger.
Good. I mean, for us, we saw when Ryan joined the team, and we kind of went, hang on a minute, so is this gonna be the thing that gets Mugen to bring out the 10th scale buggy? Has there been any talk of that?
I mean, we've discussed it, like, especially in the U.S., that's been something that we've wanted, or have talked about, ever since I came on board. But we're a fairly small company, and we're very focused on the platforms that we, already have and have had for many years. So I think a lot would have to change, staffing-wise and things like that. I mean, in America, we hope that happens because, let's face it, 8-scale off-road, you can't race year-round in all parts of the world. So it would be nice to have something for guys to be able to race in the winters and indoors and stuff like that. But we're not going to do it unless we have the people in place and the manpower. And we also don't want to lose focus of our current classes that we strive to win at. So, and the other thing is with 10 scale is right now I think it's settling down now, but up until now, these last like 2-3 years, they've been all over the map. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. It was rear motor, then it was mid motor, then it's stand up 3-gear, 4-gear, lay down. That's not really the market you want to jump into until it kind of settles and becomes stable. There was guys, they would go to, races with 3 different 2-wheels, sometimes 4 different 2-wheels, and
we've got that now.
You don't want to jump into that. That's just crazy right now. So once that kind of settles in and, it's something to consider, but it's also something that we're not going to risk losing focus on our current vehicles just to get into another market.
Yeah, that makes sense. You've got to make sure that you're comfortable where you are before you start branching out and doing other things. And like you say, with the changes that, especially with the gains that there are to make now, I think we had Ben Jameson on, and he was saying that almost what I took from it is kind of the big leaps in track time gains over a lap or over 5 minutes are almost virtually gone, and it's those tenth of a second here, a tenth of a second there, and you're just trying to. Everything that people are gaining now is a small gain compared to what was already there.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at the speed of a mid-motor or lay-down car against a rear motor car, especially on a dry and high-grip track, and you're leagues away from it with that sort of difference. But
correct,
do you think that's the same sort of thing with the 8 scale as well? Has it kind of reached that point where it's just a fraction of a second you're trying to gain, or maybe even a bit more durability or something like that out of it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think nowadays, there's so many cars that are good, and there's always little areas where you can improve, whether it's durability or drivetrain efficiency or whatever. But it's all the cars are pretty good now. So when you do something that's, oh man, this is a huge step in the right direction, it doesn't always equal to 5 or 6 tenths a lap faster.
Yeah.
It may just be more comfortable driving at that pace, which in turn in a long race gives you, a faster time.
Yeah.
So Adam, I really sort of caught on to the Drake thing from your YouTube videos. The short videos that you did. I don't know if you started them with TLR, but that's when I first sort of found them on YouTube and the internet. And I know we all watch them, and the ones you do now with Mugen.
I appreciate that.
We're all big fans. Though I will say, I'm certainly a 1/10 electric guy, so when you talk about a carburettor, I have no idea what you're going on about. But I still watch it anyway. But do you think that's a big thing for RC? Doing YouTube videos, doing instructional stuff, getting it out onto Facebook, growing the sport?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important with anything. It's like, I mean, if I need to figure out or find something, I go to Google or YouTube.
Yeah.
And, I think it's something that can kind of set yourself apart or set the brands that you represent apart by, having someone or having a place where there's access to easily get a hold of information.
Yeah.
In my early days of racing, there was nothing like that. You waited till, the Car Action magazine came out 3 months after the race happened, and you studied the photos of everyone's car and things like that. And now, I mean, it's so simple and easy to do that, I feel it's good for Mugen and OS and Proline and all the brands that I race for to just kind of help spread, information that, whether it's something that a question someone asked or a new product that we came out with, you can pretty much instantly get that out and, show it to some people. And then the other thing is, with YouTube, it's there forever, basically. It's, if someone emails you or asks you a question of how do you set your ride height, you can just refer to that video instead of typing this big long thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Every time the question's asked. So that's kind of where it started from, was when I was at a race or, just going through my emails, questions that I would get asked a lot. I'm like, I should just do a video on it. And, it's just turned into something that I do now, and it's every Tuesday a new one posts, and it may be, like I said, about tuning a carburetor or setting ride height or cutting a body out or a new product, from Mugen. Just trying to spread as much information as I can.
Yeah. Well, the feedback from me and the races I do, I know we don't want to, but people say, "Well, what about ride height?" And I go, I do say, just check the video, just Google it. I always go, Tebow has a great one on setting a diff. If I set a diff, for one set electric, we all sit there and hold on to a wheel for 10 minutes now. That's how we set a diff, and he's in his shed doing it. And I remember your ride height one, and then I think it just works really well. That sort of, it's sometimes 3, 4, 5 minutes of just, and then this is what I do, and these are the changes you should notice for when you do that. And I think we should see more, because we all love the sport. We all love interesting. We think it's amazing that 500 people a week listen to us chat about what we did last weekend, but people just turn up and go, "Well, we like toy cars."
Yeah,
we like and so I'm sure you don't need to feed back to your bosses. You probably are your own boss, but anything like that from any driver is what everyone's looking for.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think you're definitely seeing more and more of it. I think people struggle to do it on a consistent basis. I think with traveling and everything else, it's difficult to try to get in a regular routine of that. But you're definitely seeing more and more people do it, and I think the more the better. I've had some people comment like, "Oh, you need to, have a nicer intro or outro or some music or this or that," and it's like, to me, I want it to be as simple as possible and to the point, and you're done. Next week there'll be a new one. I don't know. I don't want to take focus off of the actual intent or the content and make it a 30-second intro for a 2-minute video. It's just, this is what it's about. Here's how it is. See you next week. Kind of for people to see when they're at the bench, when they're actually spanning in their car, maybe on the week before they go racing, and they go, right, Google it. There it is, 2 minutes. Yeah. Right, super.
Yeah, you don't want a 20-minute video when you're in a rush to do it, do you?
Yeah, when I Google or YouTube something, a video comes up, I almost always look at the length first. And I'm like, you don't maybe always want to go to the shortest one, because it's like, this guy may not give me enough information, but you definitely don't go for the longest one.
Yeah.
So, just try to make it to the point and as simple as possible.
And what do you think for the guys out there that are getting into it? Because like you say, that sharing of information is something that I've definitely gained from in racing. I've got quicker from watching the YouTube videos that are out there to teach you how to change things, and obviously picking things up from people at the track. But for you, what's the one thing people need to be doing or need to be thinking about when they're at the track that's going to help them out if they're new or if they're struggling a bit?
I think the big thing is just don't be afraid to ask questions. Like if you are struggling with something, the RC community for the most part is a bunch of guys there trying to have fun and willing to help one another. It can be intimidating at times, but we've all been in that position. You know, none of us just showed up and, you know, we were the best guy at the track. You know, we've all had to go through the same growing pains and struggles, and pretty much everyone is willing to help a fellow racer or answer a question, or you know, so don't be intimidated by it. Just, you know, ask the question, or, you know, maybe it's not at the race. You know, don't be afraid to send an email or hit them up on Facebook, because nowadays with social media, it's pretty easy to get, you know, the answers that you're looking for.
It is definitely. I've found that with the guys over here. I mean, someone once said to me to pick a guru. So rather than going, it was you, rather than going to 5 or 6, 7 different people and getting 5 or 6 different people tell you 5 or 6 different ways of curing the same problem, just stick with one person that you know knows what they're doing, and you kind of get further. And for me, that's always been Stu Wood. I always refer back to Stu Wood. We had him on a few weeks ago. And he's really helped me out, and that I think is what it's all about, really. And you don't realise how easy it is to get hold of these guys, and they will answer. Yeah. You know, they will answer you, because especially if they're the paid guys, if they're the guys that are doing this for a living, the last thing they want is somebody going, "Oh, I don't like him." Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that, because he
unless you're JQ. I think he wants people to not like him.
Well, sometimes bad publicity is the best publicity, I think. Maybe that's the way he's thinking of it.
Yeah, but it's true. But like you mentioned, you got to be consistent too. With don't get to where you go and ask the same person, or you go and ask 5 people the same question, because everyone may accomplish or get to that same goal of, hey, I need more steering. They may give you a different answer. But if you keep it consistent, again, it has to be someone that you trust, or you know, that has given good advice. But, you know, keep your circle kind of close, and you know, get the information that you need to help yourself.
So on a purely personal thing, so do you run any 110 still?
It's been a little while. I was still running a little bit of 110. Our local track closed a couple years ago, so like right before the Reedy race, I went out to the track to do some photo stuff with Ryan, and I drove some 110th then. I've talked with Yokomo about getting some 110 stuff, so that you know, kind of in the winter when our season slows down a little bit or the weather's bad, to run. But you know, right now it's full bore in the middle of our summer, and racing's in full steam. So maybe next winter I'll do a little bit, but for right now.
Does that mean next winter is when the 10th scale's coming out? If you just let that slip there.
No, I promise you that.
All I was interested, because I actually run a Yokomo. So when I have a problem, when I'm indoors at the winter, I'll just try and check the time differences out and just send you a message.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, just turn around. It's going, you know, it's slightly over rotating in the corner. Hang on a sec, guys. Yeah. I'll just phone Adam.
Yeah, perfect.
And then you go, Aiden, why are you phoning me at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Please don't do that again. Because you know, I think it is a really good thing about RC racing. I've spoken about it before, and I don't know how you feel or deal with it, is because to me, who RC racing is my hobby and is what I like. You're like a football, okay? You're like a soccer player to me. You know, you are at the absolute pinnacle of what you do, yet I could go and buy exactly what you run. And if I had a question,
that's
you would
what's
answer
so
it.
Cool about the hobby is that it's, you know, it's you can race and own basically any of the same products, whether it's the vehicle, the tires, the engine, electronics. Obviously there's times when a professional driver may have something that's prototype or whatever, but everything that we're running or using at some point, if it's good, goes to market and is available to everyone.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that is really good about this. When I spoke, I'm very lucky. I speak about this in my work, and everyone I ever meet that gets told on shows, I show pictures of me racing my toy car, and they say, what's the great part about it? I said, well, if I've got a question now, because I drive a Yokomo and I'm in the UK, I bother, and I will use the word bother. I bother Lee Martin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
harass,
he comes back
to a better word.
Yeah, I think it's harass. Yeah, Lee Martin, a touch, and you get answers, and and these people are just there to help, and they enjoy it themselves, and it's great. And we chat nonsense about RC once a week, and people listen to it. It's just a great hobby to be involved in.
Yeah.
Right, so Adam, I am confident we have taken up more than enough of your time today.
Yes,
I know you're at work.
No problem.
But like we said to Ronda, what we'd love to do, we'd love to have you back on. We'd love to have you and Ronda back on at the same time. Obviously, there are. So there we go. We are going to have to move on though, mate. As much as a pleasure as it was having those two on, and I'm sure we could probably talk about that for the rest of the evening. But we are going to need to press on. You didn't you go racing last weekend? Didn't you? You had a round on at Southport, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had our 2-wheel drive competition on Southport.
Ooh,
we had a good
get you.
Yeah, me. We had a good turnout. We had 5 heats. It rained overnight, so it was a bit slippy. But as I was, I'm going to say helping Eric set up, he was upset. Well, no, actually, it was quite good because he was sitting there spending 10 minutes trying to find something I'd done wrong.
Yeah.
And he couldn't find it. And I was being very gracious, going, ha ha, ha ha, ha ha, told you I could do it. He did find something wrong, but even I can't remember what it was. And even Eric had to admit it wasn't really that important.
There you go. Job done. Well on the way to being a fully fledged race controller there, mate. Well done.
Yeah.
Imagine what it'll be like when you get to run your first national.
Well, it's all right. You don't run nationals, do you?
Well, I don't know. We didn't mend it.
No. 1/10 nationals. You don't run them. They bring their own.
Yeah,
they bring their own team. It's ace. They've been doing it.
Been a luxury we could have done with. I'll tell you now. The teams in the clubs are short enough running the clubs anyway to have that thrown on top of you is a massive, massive chore and a big responsibility that a lot of clubs just haven't got the support to be able to do it, but they do it and try and support the hobby, I suppose. But no, that's great if the offer guys are turning up with a whole team to run a national for you.
Yeah, all that happens is you usually got a 1/10 off national. All you happens clearly. We have heartaches and heartbreaks and cry for the 3 days before. Mm-hmm. But what Paul Worsley turns up on Friday, plugs his stuff in, goes, walks around the track, and goes, yeah, that's fine, guys. Generally, that's what he says. Yeah, that's fine, guys. See you tomorrow. And then tomorrow morning, they just turn back up again because it's Southport, because where we are in a park and things, they've got to take all the stuff away, but they come back and set it all up again, and they just run it. They have the timekeeper. Paul Worsley's the race. I don't know if he's actually officially the race director. That could be our Derek. But unless there's a problem, we don't get involved. We run our scrutineering, and scrutineering's a lot less now. You're just checking, LiFo voltages. We run, and if it's in a box and a bit of weight, and there's not many cars come underweight nowadays. So Sunday for us was really good. It had rained overnight, so it was a bit damp. but as I was helping Eric, I only had one quick practice. I went out in greens. It was fine, but just before my first round came on, Garner was in heat 2, I was in heat 4, and as Garner came off, he goes, "My tyres are dry. It's dry out there. It's dry now." So just before I went on the track to run my race, first heat, I went to darts. I had I wouldn't say slightly warm, but they had a couple of runs. So the darts, put them on, put some. I thought it might be still slightly damp, so I did put some yellow cuts on the front. And I went out for my first round, and to be honest, I had a great round. It wasn't my quickest, but the track dried throughout the day. There were still some damp patches. I did really well. I got a good clean run. I always say this: I had a great heat. There was a couple of guys who mustn't have started well because I think I won it. Just trounced it. One of those great things where you come off and people go, "Bloody hell, you were good." I was like, "Well, I'm not going to have a better run than that today." So that was all right. I
always tell people they look good in their heat, even if they didn't, just because it gives people a bit of a bit of a boost, Yeah,
and it's always good. It's always good when, and I would say, anyone, if you see if you're at a race meet and you see someone with a BBT sticker walk off with his car, that's what you should be saying to them. Well done, mate. That looked really good.
Yeah, look wicked.
Or if you're any good, you should be popping up and going, "Well, it looked okay, but what did you think?" Because I came off and I went, "I think I had a bit too much steering." So
a bit too much steering, or were you steering too early?
No, I think I had a bit too much. So I did take, we were really lucky in the tent on Sunday because we had Gav Collingwood came in and pitted in with us. He's gone back to Team C after running a B6 he ran a Team C. I think we talked about it with probably this is what I was thinking about when we were talking with Ronda about it, and then spent 2 years driving 18 months driving a B6 or something else.
So 6 months longer than anybody else in the UK then.
Well, I must have had another car before that. I thought of that halfway through, but the last car he was running was a B6, and then he's gone back to his Team C, and he's really loving it. And he goes, "I don't know why I left. It is basically the same car. In fact, it is the same car." I don't think we've seen much Team C development over the past few years. I've seen a few guys run a prototype lay down, but it's not come out. But those kind of shaft-driven Team Cs just work really well around South Paulson.
Yeah, I'm not even sure it's that, because you can say that with Evo in his PR, or Evo and when he had his Team C, and no denying it, Team C has been proven to be a very, very quick car on a track, whether it's wet or dry. But again, this goes back to what Ronda was saying, is that it's the chopping and changing between the teams. Sometimes you need to do it just to remind you that the grass is just as green on your side of the fence. Sometimes when you do it and you taste the other grass, you come back and you realise how good it was anyway. But I think that makes a difference for everybody. You all of a sudden you go back to a car that you know virtually inside out. You know what it's going to do when you hit a bump or a lump or go over a jump or round a tight corner or a big sweeper. You know what that car's going to do, and I think that, I'm sure I've said it before, I'm a big fan of people who stay with a team and see it through, because I do believe that even when you do hit the hard times, and you do hit those times where you can't get your laps up and you can't get your times lower, and you do keep making the odd mistake here and there, and you're just trying to fight for something else, I think when you've stuck with a car, you get past that. It's not something that jumping to another car can give you as an instant answer. Unless you're driving something absolutely terrible, But
and I've done that. I'm not someone who's stuck with a manufacturer for any real length of time. I said I'd go back. The main reason I'd ever drive an Associated again is because I can get race gear that fits. but I ran an Associated, I ran an X-Ray, I ran an X-Factory, and then I'm on a yoke. And I just think, I tend to go with, I don't change because I'm not happy, well, except for the X-Ray, because that X-Ray 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive thing was awful. But now, I think it's just sometimes you just feel like a change. I think if you change for that reason, that's different. I'm not sitting there going, that I think Ronda again talks about that. How many times are we going to say that? That'd be a good thing to say. And Ronda talked about the fact that, she doesn't believe the Mugen car is better, but it's certainly better for her.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and those sort of shaft-driven cars seem to work really well. And, we've moved to I'm going to say this, Evo did really well at one of the last nationals I at Southport with the Kyosho hybrid car that Tony Park cobbled together for about 3 or 4 others, which was shaft driven. I know Tony's a big fan of shaft driven cars, though. Other than the teams here, I don't think there's much there. Though I don't care. We'll get someone into trouble, but I've heard people have told me that actually Team C are doing a bit of work, and maybe there's like a conversion. I don't think there's a new car coming, but maybe there's a conversion kit coming to their Team C. Of course, how would I know? Very important to say that. How would I know? But maybe change where the spare gear is. If you look at a Team C, that centre spare gear with the sort of back end of a 4-wheel drive, the spare gear is quite high.
Yeah.
So maybe you're talking about maybe lowering it and then doing something fancy with the chassis, maybe slightly different. Maybe have a metal and a plastic chassis, or a metal middle bit and some plastic outer bits.
To be honest, I think they're going to have to step on it, because I know that Charisma are doing a lot of work on a 2-wheel drive 10th scale car.
Right.
And I think if you look at how well their micro car's done, that has smashed virtually everything, especially over here from what I've seen of it. I know Craig Harris is an incredibly talented driver anyway.
Yeah.
But that Charisma, I saw him doing some testing down at Torbay with his, I suppose, hybrid type Charisma, and again it's that 4-wheel drive back end with a 2-wheel drive front end. I don't know what sort of secrets he's okay with me saying about the car, so I won't go on too much about it, but I'm sure it's not the biggest of secrets out there. But I've spoken to Craig. I've said to him it'd be great to have him on at some point to have a chat about that and see how that's going. But that shaft driven thing, it's not a new thing, is it? It's been around a while. We know it works. I think some people have said work as well as one of those in a lot of situations.
I think someone was saying that somebody definitely was saying that the shaft drive cars are a bit better, but because of what they are, they wear a bit more. There's, a lay down just works really well because it's just a gearbox. It's the same gearbox every car we've had for the last 30 years. They've just stretched it out.
Yeah.
So
what's great about it. It's just dead simple. Something that you almost see it and you kind of go, oh, man.
I know.
How do we miss
Tony?
that?
Yeah, Tony takes the piss out of me because every so often he goes, "Oh yeah, especially when he comes back from a national. It was last year. He'd go, "Oh yeah, what do you call it? Such and such is driving a shaft-driven yoke," and I'm going, "Really? Are they? And he's like, "Yeah, they are." And so, of course, I just go back. I wait till I've got another question for Lee, and then go, "P.S. Lee, are we getting a yoke shaft-driven?" And it must be his quickest answer he's ever given. No, never. Stop it. I think I'm sure someone said to me at one point, "Did Tony Parr say that?"
Do you know what? I'm so going on the YZ2 forum with a fake Facebook profile and starting off the rumour that Lee has been seen testing a shaft-driven
yoke.
Yeah,
that's it. Well, hopefully, maybe one day if we're lucky, and Lee comes on, we can ask him. That's what we are. Hi Lee, how you doing? When's the shaft-driven two-wheel drive yoke coming?
Yeah, important thing to ask.
Yeah, that's the thing. So
obviously, we've got Robin Hood coming up next weekend. They've obviously, I think everybody's seen the pictures. That big barn pitting shed is all finished with, all bits inside it where you can pit. So that should be pretty good for everybody, I think, if it's wet up there. But I don't think it's going to be, because it looks like it's a belting weekend all round for everybody.
Yeah, it looks scorchio, doesn't it? Scorchio.
And where's the best place in the world to race when it's scorchio?
Southport.
Don't be daft. Nobody wants to race on a billiard table when it's that hot. All the best people will be at Mendip next weekend. All the best. Yeah. None of them will be at Robin Hood. All of the best people will be at Mendip.
So I'll be looking forward to updates. I know Evo's going, so there'll be a big turnout by the PR boys. The Craggy with his B6. Yeah, LMR lot are going. It should be a good turnout.
Talking of PR, it was nice to be able to help out. One of the PR team guys were there with a bit of help from the AE lot over here.
Right.
So I had one of the PR guys message me last week, just asking for just a few bits of advice, because he'd seen the B6 going round. He saw it was going round really well. Just wanted to see if there was anything I could suggest to make his PR go round a little bit better, or just improve it a bit.
Right.
That's the type of team the AE team are. We're happy to help
anything. We're just happy to help everyone.
Well, I think what I did for the BBT was brought the AE help everybody spirit in. You lot didn't talk to anybody before I came along.
Well, again, you think, oh well, it's fine. We've got this little Facebook group, and we've actually moved the Facebook group onto the main page, maybe so people can see and join and get involved. But even this week, someone came and asked me, after racing, sent me a message and asked me a reason regarding diffs and how do you seal them, and I just go, well, just speak to this fella, he drives one of those. And he goes, he's not my friend on Facebook. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You know him? And so there's still this bit, there it is, we need to, put our big boy pants on people and go up and ask people. Adam said it, you know what I mean? There's just go and ask someone. Everyone's going to try and help. We're not all superstars, but we can all learn different bits. Specifically, I think this guy's actually moved to an X-ray, and he was having a problem with his diff empty. And I'm going, all I said is, none of the other X-ray boys have moaned about that. You've seen it on internet forums, you've seen it on Opel, where people go, this car is, new car comes out, this car is awful. I've broken 14 front arms. And half the time, my responses have always been, that's weird, that. Because you're the only person complaining about that.
Mm.
So that's more likely you. And how much help are you going to get when you come out and go, well, this car's rubbish? The first people are going to respond, and people are going to come respond with, well, I drive it and it's fine.
Yeah, we've had people turn up at Mendip like that, and they've, again, we'll say it again, like Ronda said, you can't just turn up at a track and expect to be at the top. You can't do it, but people do. They turn up, they watch a race or two one weekend, and they go out and they buy themselves a buggy and they put it down on the track, and they think they're going to be competing with the people they've just watched race.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't happen. You've got to put hours in. You've got to put lap after lap after lap after lap in. And if you don't, you're never going to compete with the people you want to compete with.
Yeah.
But, I think that's what everybody's got to realise. You wouldn't expect to get into a boxing ring with Lennox Lewis and whoop his ass if you'd never done any boxing before.
No.
Why would you
No.
expect to turn up at a racetrack with a toy car you've never driven before and compete with people who've been doing it for the last 20 years?
That's it. If you're going to use a boxing or a punching analogy, why, if you're sat in a car and someone comes and punches your window, would you get out the car?
Why would you? That'd be a stupid thing to do.
It'd be a stupid thing to do. You just drive the car away.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah,
you would,
because that's not your skill set.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
So that was good. So in fact, I think I got to round 1. So round 1 was really good. Round 2, we got help off Gav Collingwood. I think I took a shim off the front. That's what I like to do: take or add a shim off the inner links. And the car was again. I probably would have gone a bit faster, but actually, Paul Bannister. He was trying to get out the way of me in Heat 2.
Mm.
I was lapping him. I'd just like to point that out. I was lapping Paul Bannister. He's done really well, really improved over the last few months.
Yeah.
But, I was clearly lapping him, and he was getting out the way. But as he got out the way, he took a slightly different line, grip rolled, and I just collected him. Completely no fault, and that probably cost me 5 or 6 seconds, and probably cost me 5 or 6 points.
Yeah.
Because I would have had a really good round. Because the guys that after us, the sort of toppies, they were blindingly quick, all of them, as I was marching. But it was very scrappy. I think as the conditions were changing, as the grip was coming up, as the track was drying, but then would be slippy in other parts because they wouldn't dry as quick.
Mm.
They were rolling, or they were crashing, or doing something. So that was that. Round 3, I tried those pro lines again that you sent me.
Yeah.
They were great. Again,
I think they'll be better this weekend than they would have been last weekend.
That's the thing. There were some damp parts of track coming onto the straight, coming off the straight. So that wasn't great for them. And again, it's weird. It's like the side of the tyre is really tough, but the top of it's quite soft.
Mm.
So again, through the back section, it was a bit iffy, but I had a run with them. Again, I'm sure they'll be better when the track's bone dry. And again, I've ran them. I must have ran 4 heats of them, okay, over the last 2 weeks. And you can still see the join mark in the middle of the tyre. They look brand new. They don't even look like they've been touched. So I went back to me set of darts for the next run. And it wasn't as good. I wasn't as good. I made a few mistakes because I just thought I'd just drive a bit faster. That got better. We had 5 rounds qualifying. I qualified BQ and had a pretty good final. Well, I lost 5 places.
BQ.
It was good. Well, it was good because actually none of Garner was in the heat below.
Okay.
So that was ace. That was the perfect run. But yeah, it was a really good final, really good day at Southport. Looking forward to next week. It's again just a club day for us. Oh, I tell you what we did, and we put some pictures up. We put one picture up. I gave the bottles of Talent drink to Steve Bolton.
The post come up.
Yeah, and again, it was me. I put them in the freezer so they'd be cold, and then forgot about them all day. So that's why we weren't all taking pictures, drinking of them. And again, Steve was saying, "Quick, we'll get a picture," and I'm going, "Yeah, it's a good idea. We can get a bigger picture." But everyone was dotted about. It's really difficult to get people together. But so he was really happy. All the South Lakes boys were drinking that up and down. Eric didn't like it because it had mango, and Eric doesn't like mango. But in fact, Eric's been. He told me today he's been on the Talent website and told them can they do more flavours, as he doesn't like mango. And I think he suggested lemon and lime. So if we get lemon and lime Talent,
he does strike me as a lemon and lime guy.
Yeah,
it's a bit like Rick Evans at Mendip. He strikes me as a lemon and lime type of guy.
Okay, right, okay. That might be a Southwest euphemism that we're not getting. And then, so it was a good day. There's been a bit of chat in the BBT group regarding charges. People say, "Oh, you should do some reviews of stuff." I don't know whether that's really us, but someone was asking. Steve Hidden was asking, he was thinking of getting a new charger. He wants 2 channels because there's him and his lad who go racing, and he put the picture of the new Corrali charger up, which I've got actually. I've got the black edition, and it works really well. You know, it's not missed a beat in the 4 or 5 weeks that I've had it. I don't think is there any difference in the chargers? Do chargers make you go faster, do you think?
I'm not sure whether there's a huge amount of difference between them. You know, if you're going to balance charge at 1 amp or 5 amps, I'm not sure whether that matters, whether you're doing that between one charger or another. It's going to balance at one rate or another, isn't it? I think the thing is, what you're looking for is one that will charge at the rates you want to charge at, will charge enough batteries for however many batteries you want to charge, and I think for me one of the most important things on a charger is being able to have a 12 and 2 40 volt power source to them.
Yeah, okay, well, I can say that. My Corrali Black Series dual charger has both of those, came with all the leads.
Excuse me?
Yeah, clearly. If you sneezed, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
For me, taking pictures and doing videos, doing a bit of live videos and things like that, you know, it's got a 2 amp USB socket in it. That's great. It works really well. And it's not it is a downside. The bag that it comes in is the biggest bag you have ever seen in your life.
Okay.
It is nearly 3/4 of one of my hoodie hauler drawers.
Wow.
So clearly my charger is the safest thing in the world in this purposely cut out, zipped black case with pockets and instructions and spare leads. And I got some fellow on the Peter on the GT12 forum. He made me some leads because they had 7-pin plugs and I don't want a balance board, so that it works really well. So that's where I'm going to do with a review of what I've got, which is the Corrali charger. It seems to work really well. I'm pretty sure Mike Parker can get one. I would say I think this actually came from Inside Line of Kev Lee. I think it came from one of those. But yeah, if you're looking for a charger, the Corrali one's been really good. Hopefully you'll see me running more Corrali stuff in the future. Have you done anything fun? Have you got any new bits for yours? Or
well, I mean, I've got round 4 of.
No, but have you got any new stuff on your car? Didn't you when you talk about
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, because I've got the next round of the Summer Championships for Mendip coming up this weekend. It's just a chance for me to try a few different bits on the car. You know, I can normally compete fairly well at Mendip, so I don't want to take too many risks. But I don't think trying things like a different slipper pad is too much of a risk, really. You can compensate quite a lot on a tight slipper pad by just adjusting how much you nail the throttle. But I don't know. Is there a huge amount of difference? I know the carbon ones that I used from Red Workshop lasted for a huge amount of time. I just didn't have any sandpaper to be able to freshen them back up. So once I'd used both sides of them, they went back in the box. And I guess when I get some more paper, I'll put them on again. But I'll go back to the normal ones for the weekend. There's just the stock B6 AE slipper pads that come in the kit. I've got hundreds of them sat in the box, so I'll stick a new pair of those on.
I think Seddon was talking about, he was looking at slipper pads, you know, because is that something we could get involved in? You know, they seem quite simple, but I think he was saying as he looks into the materials, which is what he knows about, clearly we don't, he was talking about it is actually the perfect material to make slipper pads out of. You know, the stuff that they make the AE and the yoke ones out of. It's, you know, it's a really actually expensive material to make and to purchase, and it's just perfect for what we use them as.
Yeah.
I know I've got I actually ran associated slipper pads in my yoke because it is all exactly the same, that part on a yoke and associated. But then as I went to a 3-pad one, because it looks cool and it was my birthday, so I needed something to buy. The associated ones were a bit thicker than the yoke ones.
Yeah.
So I couldn't, with a 3-pad one and the middle bit that goes on, nut was hanging off the end.
Yeah, it's horrible, that. So
so I've gone back to yoke ones, and it's one of those things where I was sitting there. I was at Broxtowe, and as I was driving, thinking, it's just not going. Something's not right, and I was adjusting the slip, and it just wasn't. I'm not a big adjuster, but it just didn't feel right, and so I just went over to Mike. I just went, got any yoke pads? And he went, yeah, he opens his box. That's the great thing about having support at the side of the track. Just opened his box, found the yoke ones, took them, and put them in. I just went, wow, that's brilliant. That's what the car's probably been missing for about 3 weeks. But I never thought of the slipper pads.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it should just be part of your maintenance routine, just to whip them off, check them, make sure they're not knackered. You should be able to feel it if you're changing them regularly. Which is
they're like £7 a pair. Or have I got the wrong thing on? Should I be thinking about the money that he used to spend on breaking front arms, which I don't do because I don't break a front arm or a rear arm? I should just think every 6 months buy some slipper pads.
Yeah, maybe. I think for me, what I did was I kept changing them and putting new ones in, so that I'm sure I've said it plenty of times to you before about maintaining the car, and that's the key to being confident with it. Well, a big part of that is maintaining it in the same way each time. Building your shocks the same way, building your diff the same way, putting the same seals in every time, making sure that you've got the same weight of oil in your diff. Maybe not as far as CST or actual weight goes, but as a gram value, making sure that's always the same in your diff, so that it always reacts the same. Going back to the slipper pads in relation to that, if you're fortunate enough to have a lot of slipper pads that you can use, and remember, you can use both sides of them. The stock slipper pads aren't one-sided things. You can ruin one side and then turn them over and have slipper pads again. So if you change them constantly, if you change them after every race day for as long as you possibly can, every time you go back, your car's going to be the same. And that's when it's different, you can start to notice it. So yeah, I mean, for me, keeping a fresh pad in there is pretty important. I think it makes a difference if you can keep things pretty much regimented, keep on top of your maintenance, and make sure you're doing things the same every time you do them. Then you can start to pick up your faults a bit easier, and the changes, rather than like you said, you didn't know it was the slipper pads that needed changing for God knows how long, and then all of a sudden you go, oh damn, there's a bit of maintenance I haven't been doing.
No, they must have been in when the car was built 6 or 7 months ago, and they've been ran, literally every week since then. So what you racing this weekend?
Yeah, I said Mendip round 4 this weekend for me. Should be a good one, but just see how it goes. Great last time I went. Probably just go with the same attitude as then, same setup on the car, and see how it runs around the track. Have a bit of fun. Get out in the sunshine.
Is yours you got a regional the week after?
Yeah, I think we've got a round at Swindon coming up. Something else in between that, and then we've got Mendip.
Oh, no, that is a weekend we're all looking forward to. I think if we can sort our internet out for that, we can do a live Facebook thing. We'd have to make sure you know, we've got
I
people
think
involved.
what you need to do is manage people's expectations here. The internet signal at Mendip is patchy on a good day.
It's
and
been
that,
better.
you know, if you've got patchy internet where you can upload maybe 1-2 photos over the course of a day, you're doing pretty well if you're at Mendip.
I'm trying to remember that Mendip point of it tricks you into thinking that you've got a mobile phone signal.
It says 4G. What it means is GPRS.
Oh, because you just see a lot of people just stood around looking at the phones. You go, oh, I'll pick my phone. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, I'll just do that. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, okay, I won't. So we'll see how we get on. We can definitely try something then. So
well, hopefully they'll have the electric sorted pretty quickly, because I know they've got 240 or a mains supply for anybody listening that doesn't understand 240 is. A main supply going into the site pretty soon, so that will be interesting. Hopefully they can get Wi-Fi and, you know, an actual proper broadband connection in there. That would be fantastic.
Oh yeah, that's good. But you know, I think you'll have the same issues that we've got at Southport. It's trying to find somewhere to patch the broadband into. You know, you've got to look for your nearest box. But I think that's what we should be looking at as clubs. You know, getting internet in, live broadcasting races. I did a little live broadcast of the start of the A final. I was stood at the wrong point. That's where I was marshalling from. And then I saw a different button, and it was like add Stu Jones, who was on last week, to the conversation. And I did, and then he just appears in the corner. You can actually see him. I don't think he was quite expecting to be broadcast. So if you watch that sort of 3 or 4 minutes of Facebook Live video that's on the Southport Facebook page, just watch out. After about 2 minutes in, you just see Stu Jones's face appear in the corner as if by magic. And then we go, and I'm like, oh, you can see he was a bit startled, and then he cuts it off. But no, it's been good. We've had a great show. We've spoken to Ronda, we've spoken to Adam, we've caught up about what our racing's been. Hopefully people enjoy it. Hopefully people, when you do all your hard work and get this uploaded, people can like and share the post.
Well, yeah, we've had a couple of we had a review on iTunes from John, which was good. So if anybody out there has got the time to like and share the post, review us on Facebook, review us on iTunes, and any of that stuff, we really, really appreciate it. And again, any feedback, we really appreciate too. It's great to hear it, and great to know people are listening in and care enough to give it to us. So great to hear from you all. Thank you all for listening in. I hope you have enjoyed the show tonight, and me and Aidan will be back next week, won't we?
Yeah, certainly. This time next week, mate. We'll try and dig someone out to tell us more about toy cars, and then we can update ourselves on the racing that's come. And also, with the national being this week, we hopefully have a bit of national feedback on the next show.
Yeah, without a doubt. Let's hope so. I don't know who's going to be about, but I'm sure we will find somebody to come on for a chat. But yeah, been great, mate. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, mate. It's been really good.
And we'll catch up with everybody next week. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye now. Bye.
Bye.